All right, so we are here today with the next kind of series in our, I don't know if I'm going to put this under interview or NSFL. It's kind of like a player/GM profile. So call it what you want, call it what you will. But I am here with 4DChess, who is the co-GM of the Arizona Outlaws. He is here to talk with us about their offseason, about their draft, about kind of anything and everything we might think of. Maybe we can get a little bit of the secrets to getting these kind of crazy trades going on and stuff. But I'm also joined by KCKolbe. He is here as kind of a moderator, third leg, whatever you want to call him. So, guys, how are we doing today?
Doing great. Thank you guys for having me on. To begin with, though, I just have to. Quick shout-out to my boys, A. Dwyer and ER. Is it ER Mrazor? I have no clue. ER simply. I got to shout out to those guys because they are, without a doubt, the best in the business. I kind of just hang around those two and kind of serve as an advisor. So I just got to say that. I'm not the wheeler dealer. I'm a humble one.
All right. Well, let's just get into it a little bit. You guys have made quite the splash in the off season. We know about your biggest trade with the Yeti, where you guys got Felipe Carter and you got rid of a couple of guys. So Felipe Carter, that's a big pickup for you. How do you feel like he's going to impact your defensive back system?
Right. Well, going into the offseason, obviously cornerback was the main weakness that the Outlaws had. And so when you have the chance to add someone where I think she's at almost 400 TPE, it's like, it's something that you do. That was our biggest need. We were potentially going to move the rookie Zhang to cornerback. He was definitely willing to do that. But now we get to keep him in his natural position of the third wide receiver, and then add another active user in Big Bot. It was, that's a no-brainer. That's something you just have to do.
Yeah, Big Bot it was a big deal for you guys, but you did give up Myron Jackson for him. What kind of sparked that conversation? We know Felipe Carter, Vash Erickson, that's kind of DB for a DB, but you've got Myron Jackson for Big Bot, and that's a wide receiver who put up some of the better numbers in the league last year for a defensive end, who, might I add, you did end up sending down to the DSFL.
Yeah, and that's definitely a fair point. And obviously getting rid of a player of Jackson's standard is not easy, but when you think about the fact that we have Evans and then, of course, Chess at wide receivers 1 and 2, and then a rookie wide receiver in Zhang that's, he's been, I think I would say he's been the most active Season 3 rookie that I've seen since he's joined. So I guess we know that first-year rookies can have an impact in the wide receiver 3 position. And me and Evans haven't really missed any TPE, so I guess we felt we could get rid of Jackson and then add a 400 TP cornerback and not really lose anything at the wide receiver position. That's not to knock Jackson. I never really talked to him. I don't have anything against him or anything like that. It's not to knock him or his player. It's just to say that, when you can replace him with Evans and myself, it's not like we're going to be missing him too much, I don't think.
I would agree with that. I think you guys got the better of that one. What made you guys take the decision to put Big Bot down there? He's pretty close to the 250 TPE cap. Are you going to be pulling him back up really soon, or are you just going to kind of let him destroy other quarterbacks down there for a while for fun?
Well, he kind of wanted to go down to the DSFL, which we were fine with. Like you said, he's pretty close to that 250 TPE cap. And I think he wanted to play with his team. And I do. It's kind of a weird scenario that he's down there in the DSFL, but he's a great guy. He's probably one of the fun people in the locker room, which to me and to AD and ER really means a ton. And I think that at the Outlaws, that's what I enjoy most, is that we'd like to add people that have fun to the locker room. And Big Bot, he had so much fun to the locker room. He's such a funny guy. So yeah, I think he'll be in the NSFL at some point. I think that's safe to say.
Oh yeah, I think it's safe to say he's already ready for the big leagues. I was talking to Sweet earlier. This guy would be a starter on so many rosters. Sending him down to the DSFL is just such a fuck you to so many teams that I kind of love it.
Yeah, it's really it's an outlaws only problem, you know. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not trying to sound too cocky, but it's like those are the decisions we have to make now. Like, it wasn't hard finding people to send down. It was there's some depth, and but the whole league is going to start experiencing that as more and more players get added, and there's just the ability to add depth. And well, what do you do? Do you start the rookie who's gaining TP like crazy, or the veteran who's got 100 more? That's what makes sim leagues really fun. So that's kind of what I'm excited for as this league continues to grow.
Cool. All right, so Big Bot was not the only one you sent down. You also sent down Isaiah Rashad and Joseph Tkachuk. I'm intentionally butchering that name. So I think me and KCKolbe also agreed that those other two would probably be starters on a significant number of teams. Isaiah Rashad, am I incorrect in saying that he's kind of fallen off on the activity a little bit over the last season?
Yeah, that's pretty much what it boils down to. And yeah, he's just not active. If I'm not mistaken, I think he was season 1 defensive player of the year.
He was.
He was, yeah. So, I mean, that's a pretty quick drop off, I guess. If he comes back, the good news is, you know, he's right there to compete, and obviously he's shown he can be active. So if he comes back, there's a spot waiting for him. But ER especially is like an activity Nazi. Like, if you're not doing your TPE, you're not really gonna play too much. That goes for everyone except Arvin Asipi, because he's not always getting the TPE. But yeah, so he hasn't been active, and neither has that tight end whose last name I haven't really learned to pronounce, Tkachuk. And the good news with him is that Charlie Law, who we drafted, kind of, you know, and some people said it was a reach, but he put up just some monster games.
Tearing it up, man. He's been doing real good for you guys.
Yeah, he's been really tearing it up in the preseason. So I think that's exciting news. I mean, I know it's only preseason, and tight end obviously is a tough position to predict in the NSFL or to expect too much from. But I would say that's a positive. But yeah, it was definitely difficult sending down some of those players. But if you're not active, I guess the DSFL is a great place for you to go, because then if you come back on and want to be active, then you can go back up. And maybe you could play for KCKolbe, which I'll never get the chance to do, which is a real shame.
Well, I will say, as a kind of a personal note, and I take this at face value, if you will, the Sim seems to love Isaiah Rashad. Honestly, even as an inactive, he's putting up stupid volume stats. He put up, the most interceptions in the league last year. He's getting it done, even as an inactive. And it's the weirdest thing to me. The Sim seems to have these. I've noticed in my experimentation, it's got some favorite players and some less favorite players. And even just looking at my own player, John Canton, it loves me in the preseasons. Last year, I had 2 pick sixes and 3 fumble recoveries, and then went into the season and only had 2 interceptions the entire year. And, this season I've already put up two interceptions, 3 pass defenses. And I know for a fact that as soon as we hit the regular season, that's going to disappear immediately. I can't figure it out, but there's players that this Sim just loves, and Isaiah Rashad is one of them. I even experimented with moving him to other teams, and he still put up volume stats. It was nuts.
That's great. ER, he rigs all the Sims, as they like to say.
He definitely does.
So maybe he likes the rapper. I think that's got to be it. But I agree. The Sims got these weird favorites. Who pops to mind for me right away would be Darren Smallwood. I think he's a player the Sim loves, and I just don't understand. I don't understand why.
I'm glad to have one of them.
They loved him in preseason. He was actually having a very quiet season with the Wraiths until we traded him.
Maybe it just likes him on the Sabercats. Who knows?
Yeah, and he did move up to. He was a wide receiver 2 on the Wraiths, was he?
Yeah, he was 2, but our number 3 got more yards.
Oh, interesting. I had a lot more touchdowns than him. That's all I remember. So Darren Smallwood, if you're listening, just to point that out.
Yeah, well, touchdowns are kind of a fluke stat, but no, I get it. Well, you guys also had way more touchdowns than any other team in the league. Anyway. Like,
Yeah.
You put up 65 points on us. Let's be honest here.
Yeah. Yep.
But no, in all fairness, yeah, that was my one little personal thing is Isaiah
Right.
Rashad seems to love him. I feel like you could leave him in there and he'll be going up against receivers with perfect stats and he'll still somehow get a pick every other game. All right, so that's interesting. I'm glad to hear your reasoning for sending the guys down that you did. It's interesting to know that Big Bot wanted to go down. That's not something I had considered a thing. Like, I guess it never occurred to me that players would want to go down to the DSFL, but it kind of makes sense. You can go down there, just wreck shit for a few weeks, wreck shit for a season, and come on back up and be a big early round draft pick or something, or come on back up and be drafted back to the team that needs you when they need you and get your starting role back. It's you talked about how it's mostly AgeWire who kind of comes up with this stuff, who comes up with these trades and these picks, and you talked about how I believe his pronounced his name Ermerizer. He says it. He taught it to me in my interview with him. That one will be coming up soon, but as far as we call him, I call him So it's interesting to hear with those two guys kind of running the show. You kind of took over as the co-GM, and it kind of was like the cushiest, easiest job ever. You just show up and the team wins games.
Yeah, I wish you wouldn't have revealed my secret that it's the easiest job ever to the whole league. Because, yeah, when I came in, it was like AD and ER down to business. But I've got an interesting role where I feel like I kind of just play as like a sounding board. Like at the end of the day, they're going to do what they're going to do, but I kind of just hang out and I'm like, yeah, you know what? That seems like a great idea to me. Or, oh no, I hate this thing. And, yeah, and then another thing I think I help out with is I try to keep things going in the locker room and on the Discord. So I'm in there shit posting with the guys while AD and ER get most of the real work done.
So you're the distraction.
I don't know. I feel like you have a very tough role personality-wise because you do, try to stoke the fires and keep people excited. Well, at the same time, you always have to be the first one to say, all right, guys, let's start reining it in now. That's a little bit too much excitement.
Yeah. There's some real firebrands on the Outlaws for sure. But I would say that all three of us, ER, myself, and AD, all do a pretty good job of reining it in as much as we can. It's a sim league, and people are going to do what they're going to do. But I think the Outlaws, it's fun to hate us. I understand that, and we kind of enjoy it. But I don't know. There's some much larger trolls. There's more concentration of trolls on other teams. I would feel like that would be an interesting power ranking to do.
Who's the biggest troll?
Yeah, what team has the most trolls?
Maybe I can bring that up if I interview Archon.
Yeah, he's number one. That alone is like 500 points to his team. Like,
don't rule out Antonio Sandoval though.
Yeah,
Ricardo Sandoval.
They give it to each other, honestly.
Okay, we should do a troll draft, shitpost draft, and I'll tell you who's I would say would be a first round pick. Arbin Isipi. He is a troll master. I
don't think he's a master because he's.
Yeah.
I don't think he realizes what he's. I mean, I think the best part about a troll is that they know that they're trolling and that they don't care. My favorite troll, I'm not going to say he's the best, but my absolute favorite, Micah Hendricks. That man trolls with such amazing subtlety. He puts work into his trolling.
Yeah, he's good. America's hit or miss. Sometimes he really nails it. Same with Harshan. Archon cracks me up a lot, but he also pisses me off more than just about anyone in the league. Dermot, I don't know if you could call him a troll.
I don't.
I don't call Dermot a troll.
He's yeah. I like talking with Dermot in the Discord. He's a king shit poster for sure. He's one that I feel goes to toe with me in the shit post category.
For me with Dermot, I feel like I don't know him that well. And that's not because I don't talk around him or anything. We don't talk that much, but I feel like I don't see a ton of media output coming from him. So I don't really get to see the other side of him. Like when you look at some of these, and we've kind of gone off topic, but trolls are funny to talk about every once in a while. But I feel like this is true. I can kind of relate to the Outlaws as a whole. I see you guys are just killing it. You're keeping it up. You got the TP up. You got the activity up. But I feel like, and that might be partially my fault, that I don't see a ton of media from you guys, though I do see a ton of activity from you on the Discord. And when you look at guys like Archon, when you look at guys like I can't think of one right now, but Archon's the biggest example, and he's the most fresh one in my mind, is you see that he's kind of two different people in the Discord and in the forums, where in the forums he is 100% dedicated to just being a shit poster. And in the Discord, he kind of goes back and forth between that and being an actual person every once in a while. And I feel like I kind of miss seeing that plurality of people. And on the Outlaws, I don't know if I see a ton of you guys posting huge media articles as much as I see you talking in the forums.
Yeah. And we also have, the best example, and probably everyone's favorite guy in the locker room, Tim Pest. Because that dude is like, he shows up as his job as great. He makes graphics to the best of his ability, and do the point task, and that's all you see from them. So we do have a lot of those guys, for sure. As far as media writers go, there's not something we're actively on.
No, it's the one thing I miss about your team is I don't get to see as much media output. I mean, obviously a lot of you guys do graphics, and you get the money to get your TPE week in, week out, and that's great. And that's definitely a viable way to do everything here. But I don't know. I feel like for me, it's something missing. And that's why I'm glad to talk to you here today, is because I don't really get to put like an editorial or maybe a narrative, I guess would be the best way to put it. And maybe I don't want to create a narrative about you, but we don't really get to hear you guys create your own. And that's something I would like to hear more of. I don't know if KCKolbe would agree. I don't know if the league as a whole would agree, but I really enjoy reading those things where the players kind of come to life through their activities or misadventures throughout the season and stuff. I don't know. Maybe it would just help personalize you guys a little bit more instead of just being this evil empire who operates under the cover of darkness.
I suspect they like being the evil empire, though.
Oh, I don't doubt it.
Sure, we like to think of ourselves as maybe the Patriots of the league. Yeah, I can see AD as Bill Belichick for sure. And maybe on Halloween we've talked about putting all of our avatars on the whole team as either Patriots players or people from the
It would definitely be fitting. Well, that kind of leads us into my next question I have is, we know you're kind of the evil empire. You're perennial ultimate challengers. You guys have just made a bunch of trades and a bunch of drafts and have really set yourself up to, again, be in the Ultimates Bowl. I don't think anybody on the site can deny that at all, that you guys will be there. So who do you see opposite you in that game?
Man, well, I just filled out my predictions today, and I have it as the Wraiths and the Outlaws. But man, this was out of the two seasons I've done. This season was, way harder to predict.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. The NSFC it's a mess. Like, it's gonna be tough. Whatever team makes it out of that, I have no idea.
I think I would argue, depending on your definition of mess, I would argue the NSFC is coming together a little bit more cohesively than the ASFC. I think, Casey, you might agree with that a little bit too. The teams are a little bit closer to parity with each other than, like, the Outlaws and the Legion are total opposite. I mean, they're literally the opposite side of the board. They're perennial Ultimates champion and arguably the worst team in the league. And the Sabercats are just barely above the Liberty or the Legion right now. Whereas you've got the Liberty who are up and coming, you've got the Race who are something established, you've got the Hawks who are just kind of a relatively complete team, and you got the Yeti who, while they just had the fire sale, still seem to be holding it together all right.
Yeah, I mean, I had the Yeti as number 4 in the NSFC, and that felt wrong to put him there, but
know.
I think that's what's happened. Um, and as far as
And I agree, by the way.
yeah, and as far as the Legion and Sabercats, I just would like to say that and this is not me sucking up on Sabercats podcast studio, but seriously, I think the Sabercats are quite a ways ahead of the Legion, because people forget the Outlaws have the Legion pick again. We have their first round pick. People forget about that.
Oh my God.
Not this guy. I bitch about it constantly.
Yeah, it's like they're really, really bad, and they're not going to get a chance to pick them up. So I think the Sabercats, I think they're one of those teams that could end up having a pretty good doing that. I think if there's going to be a team that surprises anybody, it's going to be the Sabercats. I have them above the Legion by a safe margin, almost catching up to the Otters, but not quite.
I would agree with you, and if I try to be, especially in this one, in my NSFL and interview series, a little more unbiased. I will go homer as fuck in my Sabercats one, but I want to be, if I'm looking at it objectively as I can, despite the homer glasses always being somewhat on, I think we'll be one of the more fun teams to watch this year. The Sabercats will. I mean, because we are going to be the epitome of any given Sunday, and we're a team on the rise. And it's kind of it's weird being a fan of the Lions and the Sabercats, because I've got 2 cardiac cat teams that I have to deal with every freaking season now, every week, where, the Sabercats are going to go way down or get way up, and the game's always going to be within 1 score. And son of a bitch, I'm going to be yelling the whole time.
Yeah, they're an extremely interesting team going into this season. I think they're going to be one of the more fun teams to watch. And kind of going back to your earlier point, I think that's in part because the Sabercats really dominate the media section with some good backstory, character building, all of that. So I think they're kind of a likable team. The whole, I mean, really, it's crazy. As much as I love to give Smallwood shit, it is crazy to see how night and day the differences are with the Sabercats. I mean, they were kind of the team that I forgot about in season 2 until that trade happened, and it's felt like TLK and a lot of other guys in that locker room have totally turned it around, and now they're the team that's like hard not to like what they're doing.
It's really weird because, as rookie prospects, when you guys, started your little rivalry, or it was started one-sided, it was kind of cute. And then, preseason rolls around and it's okay. Look at these 2 new wide receivers, seeing how they measure up. But you're both now leaders on different teams, and in different ways. You as the co-GM and the kind of steady hand, but and him being kind of the fire starter and the face of their turnaround. I honestly find that more exciting than your stats.
Right, yeah. I appreciate that. Yeah, and it has been fun. And honestly, the thing that is funniest to me is TLK is like one of the most enjoyable people on the site.
Yeah.
I love talking to him, so it's so hard to maintain a rivalry with him, but it's always in jest. And as of right now, he's got 1 more passing yard than me in the preseason so far. 1 more yard. But I will note I have 2 touchdowns to his 0. So who would you rather have, I guess? Who would you rather have?
Well, that's the problem with stats, though. I mean, with your guys' team, I would say your defense is giving you slightly better field position. If you look at stats, like Luke Leakley and I aren't even in the same league, in season 2. But I can't say who would you rather have, because it's me every time.
Well, I don't know. Luke Leakley he put up just a boss season 1.
No, but that's what I'm
season
saying.
2, excuse me. Yeah, no, I know what you're saying.
It's because of the system that he's in. You could it's the same reason Isaiah Rashad made the Pro Bowl last year. It's not because he was an amazing player. It's because when everyone around you is that good, plays just come your way.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. Yeah, it's been fun having that rivalry with TLK, and then like I said, like I mean, he is sort of the face of the franchise, I would argue, and
Yeah.
and that's awesome, and I think that's great, and that's what sim leagues. That's why I enjoy doing this so much. It's like you can be rivals on the sim football field, but still appreciate that TLK is a good guy, and he's fun to talk to, and it makes me fun having this rivalry with him. And I'm honestly confident in season 3, wide receiver 2. He's wide receiver 2. It'll be a fair fight this season, and I just can't wait. I think he'll have about 100 more yards than me, but I'm gonna have so many more touchdowns.
I don't know if it's a fair fight because King Bronco is a hell of a lot better of a quarterback than Ethan Hunt, and that's not to shit on Ethan Hunt, but I mean, look at King Bronco. He's got like almost 300 more, at least 200 more TPE than Ethan Hunt does. He's not the mobile type. He's a pocket passer. Like, he's going to just make better choices. He's going to make longer throws. He's going to make smarter throws to players who are going to be just as open, but he's not going to get tackled as much. He's going to be able to put the ball out more. I think you'll come out on top volume-wise,
Yeah.
no matter what.
Your offense is just going to be on the field more, especially when you look at, like, your third and shorts. Them giving it to Durden is still kind of a gamble. He's starting to drop off, which is a shame because I loved his build, but I'm not going to get into that. But you guys have the combination of Macworthy and Tuck. They have Durden and Diaz. Like, which team's going to convert more,
Yeah. I guess that's fair. I'm surprised to hear you guys say that because I feel like King Bronco, and from what I've seen, doesn't get the love that he should. And I'm seeing him go pretty late in fantasy drafts, and I used him for my first 2 picks.
I did too. I had him as my top ranked fantasy guy. I know a bunch of people had him as their top ranked fantasy quarterback. Like, my one regret in this league was not going Outlaws D and then King Bronco. I went a receiver and then King Bronco.
Yeah. I wish I could have gotten my hands on Outlaws.
My goal for this season was to not be the first person to pick any position, and so I just wanted to play with that because I picked 6 overall. So even though Arizona defense would have been a great first round pick, no one picked him in the first round. And I was like, fuck it. I'm good enough to where I feel like I can kind of fuck around and still do well. So I only picked a position after it was picked. So I ended up with what I felt were value guys at every position,
Yeah. I did really bad in fantasy last year, and I keep fucking up the picks. I keep accidentally picking someone that has already been picked, and I think Ayers going to have off at some point, so that should be interesting.
Yeah, I got kind of screwed on fantasy. I picked Hendricks before Jackson got traded there, and I picked Vincent before he announced his retirement.
I picked up Myron Jackson the day before the trade.
I mean, that's not necessarily bad, though.
Yeah.
No, but I would have loved to have the Bronco-Jackson connection.
Yeah, that's fair.
Oh, no, I remember what I was going to say. I apologize. No, you were talking about how the backstories and stuff is kind of why you love sim leagues, and the ability to be rivals on the field and friends off the field was great. And I was going to say that is arguably my favorite part about doing these podcasts, because I talk with guys who most of the day when I see them on the forums, I go, fuck you, I want to punch you in your stupid fucking face. And then you guys come on here and we talk and it's great and you're super friendly and everything goes really well. And I'm like, damn it, I can't be mad at this person anymore. And so, like, I don't know, it's such an interesting duality. Like, the biggest one for me was I actually have talked quite a few times with Arshan, and he is coming on here to do a recording at some point.
Oh yeah,
and it's going to be him and Ricardo Sandoval.
Oh God,
I will be listening to that one.
Looking forward to that one. But I've been talking to him, and he's such a fucking trash talker all over the place. But he comes in and he's just one of the nicest guys I've talked to. Super enjoyable to hang out with and stuff. And so when I see him shit talking me, call me a Casey Keenum wannabe and whatever, I know it's all in good jest, and I can't be too mad at him. But it's it's been the best part of doing this is I get to hear your actual personality come through instead of words.
Well,
and
Oh, go ahead.
I will say, like, when I saw you, you're like, I want to come on. I was like, cool, 4DChess will come on. That'll be fun. It'll be a fun little thing. And you're like, I was like, hey, me and KCKolbe are doing a thing right after this. You're good. You're like, no, I want to be on with KCKolbe, and I want you to send me the questions first, and I want you to give me softballs. I'm like, oh, damn it, he's going to be a dick the whole time. And then you came on, and you're like, nah, I'm just a political science major, and I'm just covering all my bases. I'm like, oh, not
I was surprised that you wanted me on, by the way.
Oh yeah, no, no, obviously, yeah, I like KCKolbe. I'm gonna be honest. We came in the league at the same time, and you came in just busted through the wall into the league, and I was like, who in the hell is this guy? But you have, I don't know if you've toned it down or if I've just kind of figured out, oh, that's just how KCKolbe is, and that's great. And so now I'm like, I'm cool with KCKolbe. I really enjoy it, and I agree. Coming on the show and talking with you guys is a lot of fun. So I appreciate you guys having me on.
I think a little bit of it was I got a little bit too caught up in being Cushing, even when I was out of character. Obviously, that was a bit of a problem. And then I think some of it was just as people got a little more time, the initial shock wore off, new outrages happened from other folks.
Right.
And they got to see actual KCKolbe, doing like the analysis and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Eventually, there was just enough positive to, okay.
Right, yeah, exactly.
And I also lucked out going to a team that was very, very friendly and open. Burzcap was never the kind of guy who's like, hey, I want you to tone it down. He kind of let me be me, so I didn't have anything I was really having to fight against.
That's good. Yeah, and Burzcap is a really good guy. And that's kind of getting back to the point that you guys were making earlier. It's like, I can shit talk Burzcap all day. But during the draft process, he was the guy that was answering all my questions, and so it's just funny. I like how everybody kind of divides themselves up into these teams, and these, it's very a tribalism mentality, and that's I like it. Like guys like Arvin Asipi, that's just my guy, and I know that he must just annoy the shit out of the rest of the league, but I don't care because that's my motherfucking guy, Arvin Asipi, right there. I love that dude. So it's like, Arvin Asipi, he's an expert troll, I think.
It's one of the things that I don't like them or respect them, but I kind of envy how the Hawks have that blind loyalty to each other. When the Wraiths do like dick moves, like I'm still like, yeah, I'm glad we were on the good end of that, but yeah, that was kind of shitty. Hawks are never down on any of their players for anything. Like they are just so amazingly loyal to each other.
Right. And let me just say that while we're on the topic of playfully ripping each other's stuff, that logo, Jesus Christ, that thing is ugly. Oh my God. And I have no graphic skills, so I really shouldn't be even ripping it, but
no, you're allowed to. You're totally, because if you're like me and you see these things, like I am not I can't draw worth my life. I have no graphic skills worth my life. My handwriting was so bad that all my college professors asked for me to type everything. Like I am not very creative and terrible with a pen in terms of art stuff. But holy crap. You've seen enough stuff to know whether or not it's good. Like this isn't right. It's not like why do you think it's bad? You don't have any experience. No, but I have eyes, Yeah.
And it's not so much the design, like whatever, that's fine. I don't know how to do a better design. That's not, but who picked the color? That's what I don't understand. Is the puke brownish color.
It doesn't match Hawk.
I definitely described it as coffee piss.
Oh God, yeah. Vivid but true.
This is kind of under wraps a little bit. The Sabercats were considering kind of a rebrand thing. I know we want to kind of redesign ourselves, and because to go along with this whole new uprising of media and everything, we're like, it's time to kind of bring a whole new image with everything. So it's been tossed around a little bit, but somebody suggested we use like Seahawks lime green in our logo, and pretty much the entire Discord was like, no, please don't do that. It'll look so bad.
So yeah, I really enjoy the logos, and I like seeing new ones. So I think, it's a sim league. If if a team wants to rebrand, they should. We're currently not in any plans to do that. Probably more out of superstition.
You have no need to.
Yeah, we're 2 for 2, and it's a cool logo. But I think I kind of wish that the Austin Hippie Hicks would have went through. Just to see that logo.
Oh, dude, we were putting so much work into it. We were going to do like a Joe Dirt with more colorful hair, like rainbow colored hair.
I think that would be something I would like to see. But I also get why Ballerstorm put the kibosh on it.
Yeah.
Yep, he's and Ballerstorm, and you'll hear this in my interview with him. Dude really has a great head on his shoulders. Really wants to see the league do what it can and be all the best it can be. So he's going to be coming up real soon, and he's going to be you'll see some not coming up real soon. I'm sorry. I meant to say he's got a handle on what he wants to do. I know he's not looking to stay as commissioner forever, but as owner, this is kind of his baby, and he wants to see it be as legitimate as possible. So there's a reason why he would do it, but he seems to be relatively permissive of all the shenanigans that go on in the league. And just wants us to have fun. And obviously, Hippie Hicks would have been fun for like a week, and then it would have gotten really dumb.
Yeah. Ballerstorm, that's a guy that just doesn't even get nearly enough credit. Because I think he's somewhat relatively quiet. As far as quiet as you can be in the commissioner and owner role, but he doesn't really let out too much personality so much around the forums, and he's just kind of always fixing our problems, And so, hats off to him. And he's not a fucking douche charging money to, like Shaka's doing with the EFL.
Oh my god.
Where fucking pay to win? Are you kidding me?
You can pay $30 and get an extra 7 TPE a week or something like that.
I was active on that site for less than 24 hours.
Yeah,
think about how active I am on this site and how competitive I am. But it took less than 24 hours to just get disgusted with that league.
Yeah, I did SBA for a couple weeks maybe, but it just wasn't. I don't know. It's just not as interesting to me. And the idea that you could pay to earn TPE, it's just stupid. It really is. If you're trying to make money off a sim league, that's really weird. That being said, if Ballerstorm was put out a GoFundMe, I would donate some money. I would throw in $5-10,
I think there's a difference between a GoFundMe to go, hey guys, I have plans to make this league even better than it is, and I have a means to do it and opportunity to do it, but if I'm going to need a little bit of backing to do this, yeah, absolutely. Throw a few bucks his way, get the league better. I spent enough of my time on here, it'd be worth my money, but there's a difference between that or if you were to come out and say, hey, I need all of this, so I'm going to raise money by every dollar you donate gets you a TPE.
Yeah. Right. No, that's just, because a guy like Arbin Asipi or whatever, who's much younger and probably this is not an option for him. That ruins it for people like him. And that was a problem I ran into. I used to do a couple sim leagues here and there when I was much younger. I'm talking 5-6 years ago. And just that's not an environment that a younger person can thrive in, and it cuts people off, and that's just starts to ruin the sim league, in my opinion.
Yeah, it does undermine the competition.
But that kind of leads me into my next question. I just trying to get to know the guy behind the mask, as it were, a little bit better. 4DChess, are you a NFL fan? You said you were a Michigan fan before we started recording, so kudos to you. Props, you chose the right team. But are you an NFL fan at all?
I am. I am a huge Detroit Lions fan. Yeah. I guess.
No, seriously.
They're exciting this year, but my father was a sports journalist. Diehard Lions fan. I would watch every single game every Sunday. I still do. I moved to Chicago when I was 18, and I've kind of picked up rooting for the other Chicago teams, all the Chicago teams, kind of given up my Detroit allegiance. But with the Lions, I can't do it. I watched all of those really, really bad teams, and so I'm just so attached to the Lions. So I'm a somewhat of a large NFL fan. Not as big a fan as I used to be, but I still watch my Lions.
I just like to get to know. It's. I know we have people from all over the place. A significant portion of the league came over from the SHL, and so it's interesting to hear what kind of football allegiances there are, if there are any. Some people come in and go, no, I just do this because I love Sim League. Some people come in and go, I just do this because all my friends are doing this with the NHL stuff. So yeah. It's fun to hear. I feel like most of the Season 2, Season 3 guys are actually more significantly football fans. The S1 was pulling in guys from other leagues to get it started, and then S2 was, they recruited hard in Reddit, and they recruited hard in some other places, and we started to pull on real football fans. And I think that's what adds to this league is having guys who enjoy the sport in its actual form coming on and taking higher positions in the organization, in the league itself, and kind of adding to this reality that we're slowly shaping throughout this league. We've got trading cards now. We've got all sorts of controversy. We've got these fun media pieces. We've got, the only thing we're really missing is live commentary during the games, which I don't know if that would work that well. So I think we're getting there. We're becoming one of the more legitimate things that you can kind of do in terms of simulation stuff.
Yeah, I think the games move too fast for us to try to do play-by-play.
Oh, they definitely do.
Yeah, and that's another thing. I mean, I wish there was a better sim out there that could let us do the things that we need to do. Even as the co-GM of the Outlaws, I can recognize that there's flaws there, but the idea of midway through a league switching to another sim engine sounds miserable, and that assumes that there's a better there, and as of right now, I don't think there is.
I've done a significant research into this, and I do not believe there is right now for our purposes. Now, that's not to disincentivize us from trying to find something better, because if there is something better, then we should definitely use it. There are a couple of, if you guys are aware of what like the green light stuff is on Steam, there are a couple of upcoming football sims that are trying to recreate Madden stuff, but using using a computer so you could stream it and stuff. And they claim to be wanting to use more accurate representations of football calls and mindsets and personalities or whatever. But until we get to that point right now, those are really, really rough and in the really early stages. I know we're looking at switching over to the draft day football 2018 coming up here in the next couple of seasons. They're not doing it. It just came out, and has been going through pretty significantly, running a bunch of tests and doing a bunch of stuff, but he says it's still pretty buggy. It's still getting kinks worked out. So when we move to that, hopefully things will go better and we won't get weird half corner blitzes, half just corner giving up on the defender midway through his route, and we'll stop getting rid of punting it in field goal range and taking fourth down attempts when you're leading. I don't know. There's a whole bunch of stuff, but hopefully 2018 will start fixing that kind of stuff. So the Outlaws, I feel like we've gotten way off track, but whatever. That's kind of part of the fun of the show is
sure.
Letting the conversation flow, see where it takes us, especially with these interviews. I enjoy these. I feel like these are less football-centric and more player-centric, and I like to hear what you guys think about stuff. So I'd like you to weigh in on some controversy, if you wouldn't mind. I know I said I was going to softball you stuff, but I grill you.
All right.
So the most recent one is we've had a couple of instances of players misallocating TPE, and I'm not talking about Carmel Gibson, and I'm not talking about any of the Hawk stuff. We've had the meme maestro on the Yeti has been found to have been overestimating his TPE. What is your opinion on that?
Oh, God. I had just a mess of a last update, so I'm really not in any place to judge. Poor Dangles had to comb through my thing for about 45 minutes probably. But yeah, the extra TP, that's funny, especially from a guy that talks so much. That's pretty funny. I'm not gonna say that there's anything malicious there. He probably just
No.
math. I mean, judging by his posts on the forum, right? I mean, he's not like a math major. So yeah, I mean, I don't think there was probably anything malicious behind it, but I always think it's funny when there's these scandals on the site. And the real big scandal that people are burying here is that Perry 87's handwriting is not that bad, KCKolbe. My handwriting's much worse. I would love to see what he would say about my handwriting, because it is awful.
Same.
To be honest, it was just the presentation, and I just liked that there was a TPE scandal going on, and that everyone was just laughing about it, and so I just wanted to keep the laughing going and not let it get serious. That was
sure.
great.
No, it was
and I like how Perry's first thought was, oh man, there's this big TP scandal. I'm gonna bust out my pen and paper.
I was laughing about that too. Like, he's writing all this stuff down. I just screenshotted it and uploaded it to it. He's like, "What if it changes between now and then?" And I was like, "You're writing it down. Why would you not just screenshot this?" He was like, I don't know if you guys saw it or not. He was concerned that in the time between him having physically written down the stats and him posting the thing, that it would have changed, and he'd have no proof that it had changed.
And then didn't he end up getting the numbers right? He fudged the numbers to himself.
I like that he thinks that would have been considered proof.
Yeah, it's just quickly scrolls out notes and takes a picture of it with his cell phone haphazardly. And
yeah, well, Perry 87 wrote that that the TP was off, so we got to sue him.
No, that was just something dumb that I saw pop up earlier, and I know you're pretty active in the Discord, so I figured I'd hear your opinions on that one. How'd you feel about your preseason showing so far?
I thought it was good. I mean, found the end zone twice, which is my big thing. I like doing on the red zone threat archetype. Found the end zone twice. I think I had one game of like 65 yards and another of close to 80. So pretty solid performances. Not anything nuts, but I did have 2 touchdowns against the Legion, which again is like, I mean, that's not saying a ton, unfortunately. But I think if you're a member of the Legion and you're active, like, hats off to you. You're doing a good thing, and it might be sort of interesting to be a part of a rebuild. I wouldn't know, but could be something I guess some people may enjoy. But I'll take the rings for now.
How about your team as a whole?
I mean, I think we got significantly better this offseason. I think we're in a good position moving forward. We'll likely have the number 1 pick in the draft next year. Yeah, I mean, without making any stupid guarantees, like I think the Outlaws are definitely the team to beat going forward, and I 100% pick them in my predictions, and as I think most people will. But you know, as you get into the playoffs, it's like you can have a bad game and another team can sneak one by you. But I don't think there's any doubt that the team got better this offseason. I think everybody on the team's really happy with the direction we're going.
Awesome. Season predictions. I know KCKolbe has you losing one more game than you lost last year. Do you think that's accurate? You think you guys become the first team to go 14-0?
No, I think we're hovering around one or 2 losses again, probably. I guess maybe could lose some on the road, but I don't know. I don't see us losing one at home, and like I said, I think the team only got better this offseason. I think as far as, did you want my whole season predictions, like the whole league?
No, just for your team.
Okay.
You can go through the whole league if you really want to, but I'm not necessarily going to put you through all of that. That's
Yeah. Like I said, I made my predictions today. They're pretty standard. SFC is I went Wraiths, then I went Liberty, and then Hawks, and then Yeti. I may switch that. I may move the Hawks up. I may move the Yeti up. I'm not sure. The Liberty had a really good...
exactly what I picked, by the way.
Okay, yeah, and I think the Liberty had a really good offseason, but I also think I might be buying the hype a little bit too early. I think the Liberty have done a really good job of going like completely crazy in every forum where they sign a player, make a trade, and they're like, wow, Liberty just made the deal of the century. So I think they do a good job of that.
There's given how TPE earning works, there's almost a self-fulfilling prophecy to hype, though. In how because it motivates their players to stay active, and
Yeah, I agree.
Well, hey, it's been awesome talking to you guys. It's been amazing to get a chance to talk with 4DChess, the co-GM here, and get to know that not only is he actually a pretty nice guy and not just a massive troll, but he also is a Michigan and Lions fan. So thank God, I think I just found a new friend here. But it's always good to talk to, especially to get to talk to some guys who are the most successful franchise in the NSFL so far. It's always good to hear the mindset behind what you guys do as an organization, hear what you're doing individually as a player, and just kind of see what's going on in a top tier organization. And it's good to just kind of talk to you and get to know the name, the person behind the name that we see on the forums all the time.
Sure.
So, again, thank you so much for coming on, spending some time with us. I feel like I could keep you here for another 10 minutes, but that's not my prerogative, is to keep you here as long as I can. I feel like you've provided some great insight here. I've had a lot of fun talking. KCKolbe, thank you for joining us as well. Hopefully you got something out of this more than just one or two quips. But
no, it was fun.
Yeah, but as always, thank you to both of my guests. So for those of you not there, 4DChess, we've got KCKolbe, myself as Sweetwater. Thank you to you guys. Thank you to the Sabercast Studios listeners out there for following me. Again, I'm on YouTube now, so smash that like button, hit subscribe, show up to my Patreon, and buy my merch. None of that exists, by the way. So if you guys can please tune in for the next one. We will be talking to Ballerstorm here, hopefully. It'll be either Ermerzer or Ballerstorm. I don't know which one's coming up next. This one was kind of a surprise for me. Came at the last second, but I'm always glad to have another person in the studio. So thank you to both of you. Thank you to the listeners. Thank you to everybody. As always, if you like or don't like what you've heard or want to be part of the show, please PM me or comment. I am always happy to hear any suggestions. Thank you guys, and have a great day.